Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. If you haven't seen the video already, this was released this past Thursday, May 7th. It's a video of a police officer kicking someone who was under arrest right in the face. Let's just start off by watching the video, then we'll decode what's familiar. Also in this video, I want to talk about the headlines from earlier in the week about the Masonic order of police arrested in California. But first, the video.
To some viewers, watch this. There may be several others on the road, on foot as well, in the area. That little trailer park back here. All right, you saw the suspect. The suspect put his hands up, moved towards the ground as ordered. Then the the police officer went ahead and we saw him kick this individual. What do you make of this, Joey?
I make that it certainly is troubling. I mean, police, we absolutely know, have a very difficult job. There was a police officer buried in New York today, and that's certainly problematic, and everyone's heart needs to go out to them for the fine work that they do. However, when you look in an instance like this where the person appears to be complying and appears to be getting down and then gets kicked in the face, you have to wonder whether this is excessive, whether it's necessary, whether...
I just want to point out that Joey Jackson sums to 47, and I'm so tired of hearing the media introduce these stories by first giving some positive statement about the police. We live in a nation where the police serve no positive purpose. The police are absolutely worthless. You're listening to the voice of somebody whose home was robbed by their neighbor in November. I made the mistake of calling the police instead of just handling the matter myself. Because I called the police, I put myself in a corner that ended up hurting me. Since my home has been robbed, the police have done nothing to my neighbor who clearly robbed the house. He's even gone on to buy the exact same vehicle with me with all that he stole. The police just laugh at that. But these same police have come and arrested me over this incident. That's what kind of nation we live in. The police are not here to protect us. They're here to maintain the shit. Here we go.
It's even appropriate. We also know that apparently an initial grand jury did not indict, and then another grand jury did decide to move forward to go after the officer. And so if anyone does things, Wolf, that is destructive, that is criminal, that is deemed in the law to be unacceptable, they have to be held accountable, whether they're a civilian or a police officer.
Jeffrey Toobin, we know that the individual in this particular case who was kicked in the face was not charged. He was unarmed and was not charged with anything. What do you make of this?
Well, Joey sounded very judge-like to me. I think it's sickening. I just think it's an appalling video, and I love cops too, but that just...
I love cops too. And the idiot masses will repeat the same things. My whole life I've been pointing out how shitty cops are. I also grew up next to somebody with the last name C-O-P-P, like cop, who was a police officer. An absolute piece of shit. In my life, I've never seen a single good incident from police officers. I shadowed some cops when I was 17, my senior year of high school. That day, I'll never forget it. We went to report to the scene of where a woman had died from a heart attack. Obese woman, she probably weighed 400 pounds. And she had two obese daughters who were probably in their early 20s. Each weighed 300 or so pounds apiece. The police officers had them get out of the house. And then as soon as the two daughters were out of the house, they started making jokes about how long they'd be there to pick up the daughters from their heart attacks. And, it was obvious why they were making the jokes, but think about it. These people are paid to be officers of the law, assistants to the public. But they're not. They're just predators, they're creeps, they're authoritarians, they're punks, they're losers, they're problem starters. Like I said, they haven't done anything about my neighbor who robbed my house. The day they came out here, they made the comment to me, "Don't go kill your neighbor now. People kill their neighbors over this." So to make that kind of remark shows you that the police officer is aware of the situation. But then to do nothing about it, and then to come back and arrest me months later when the same neighbor makes more problems for me, shows you what the police are all about. Thuggish group of goons. Here we go.
This looks like a criminal act to me. And, we are now in an age where cell phone videos are transforming American law enforcement, and all I can say is good. because they don't lie.
Jeffrey Toobin, another name with curious gematria. So there it was, police officer kicking the guy straight in the face while he's getting down. The only question I have is that video real, or is it another agreed to segment? Perhaps that man got paid to get kicked in the face to put that video together. I suspect that Rodney King once was paid a lot of money to be the victim of the beating. Something else that looked completely orchestrated for video cameras. So you can use your imagination and determine what it is. Let's just look at the names within the story. First of all, it happened in Delaware, one of only 3 states with a 33 gematria. The states with 33 names are the first and last, Delaware and Hawaii, and the 6th state, Massachusetts. Why Massachusetts? It's because it's the 6th state, and 33 has a numerology of 6. 3 plus 3 equals 6. Delaware is also one of only 3 states with a 33 establishment date. Think about that. The first state, 33 name, 33 establishment date, December 7th, 1787. Like Pearl Harbor. Let's see. When I say like Pearl Harbor, I mean December 7th. The location, Dover, Delaware. In simple English gematria, Delaware is 69, and Dover, Delaware is 133. Dover's a 64 word. 13333. Of course, police, one of those 33 coded words. Officer, 44 coded word. Police officer equals 77, like connections to Knights of Templar, the original Freemasons. The police officer who kicked the man in the face, his name is Thomas Webster. In Pythagorean gematria, that name sums to 51. S exception 69, like Delaware. The word conspiracy has that gematria of 51. The victim's name is Lateef Dickerson. I don't know, Lateef, it's a little suspect to me, Lateef Dickerson. But anyway, Lateef Dickerson, Pythagorean gematria, sums to 66. Number often coded with 33. S exception, it sums to 75, and again, this video was released on the 7th day of May. A lot of people would write the date May 7th, 5/7 or 7/5. So, just another note there. Also, the day before, it was reported that Dorian Johnson, the witness to the Michael Brown shooting, was arrested at a scene where drug paraphernalia was, supposedly. Dorian Johnson's another one of these 66 names. Put the S exception on it, also 75. In a simple English gematria, Dorian Johnson sums to 156. That's what God equals in English gematria. Recently, we had the Walter Scott shooting. Remember that hoax from South Carolina? Walter Scott equals 156. With regards to that 156, if you have Netflix, you can put on the movie Truman Show right now. Truman Burbank, the main character, his name equals 156. That movie was released on the 156th day of the year, and it's about playing God. What do you know? Also, I want to talk about this story from earlier in the week, if you didn't hear about it. Supposedly, people were arrested in California, and they claimed ties to a Knights Templar Masonic Order of Police. If you read the article, it said that it operated in 33 states and Mexico. 33 states and Mexico, supposedly, where it operated. As we showed before, the word police equals 33 itself. Notice how they hyphenated police department, just like police officer. Police department sums to 77. Knights Templar is one name for the original Masonic organization. Another way to word it is Knights of Templar. Knights of Templar has that gematria of 77, just like police department, just like police officer. Also, the word Masonic is hyphenated. Masonic is one of those 74 words that we find coded oh so much. Think about this nation's birthday, 7-4. So that's pretty much the extent of the story, Truth Seeker. If you haven't read about this, look it up. Operates in 33 states and Mexico. Of course, Mexico has the gematria of 33. The Mexican-American War ended on February 2nd, the 33rd day of the year. The word Mexican also equals 33, just like the word Canadian. If you're wondering, American doesn't equal 33, it equals 37. Another number of significance. But that's pretty much the extent of the post, Truth Seeker. Just remember that since the beginning of this video blog, I've been saying that all these incidents are coded with the same numbers, all looking very hoax-like, and all being arranged by the Freemasons. And then here this week, after documenting probably 100 of these stories or more by this point, we get the story of the man getting kicked to the face, and we get a separate story of the police being a Masonic order. Show you one more thing, Truth Seeker. Anybody can do this. Go do a web search. Police badge, Freemason. Whoops, you got to spell it right, though. And all sorts of images will come up. That Galveston police badge is another Masonic badge. So many badges out there. Police badges, Truth Seeker, have the Freemason compass on it. That's why they're corrupt. That's why they do what they do. Scummy organization, scummy people. Anytime you hear somebody say they know a good police officer, that person's an idiot. There's no such thing as a good police officer. Because even a good person who's in a police uniform has now become a good person upholding a bullshit order. Think about what laws police officers enforce. What do police officers do that is good? Can you think of anything? If you say they get rid of violent criminals, guess what? If we had a society of people that were allowed to police ourselves, we'd also get rid of violent criminals. Such as me, who lives across the street from somebody who robbed my house, and I can't even do anything about. If I do, the police will come arrest me. Why? Because the coward went out and filed a restraining order after I confronted him that the law upheld. So now the law's on the side of the robber. That's what kind of nation we live in, Truth Seeker. We're all getting kicked in the face. Fuck the police. All right, until next.